Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back. So here we are in Farming Simulator 2019. I've just been kind of playing around with the tree physics. I promised a couple people. Oh, there's a crow, we can scare it away. I promised a bunch of people that I would kind of give you guys a review of the tree physics, and I can definitely say that they have been improved. Obviously, we won't be able to really test that till I get my own machinery out here, which shouldn't be too far down the road. But at least we can see that there's definitely some physics stuff that has improved greatly. So one thing I noticed on the physics, especially for the logs, is the logs settle a lot nicer. So when I pick up a log and drop it, previously in FS17, all these logs would start squiggling around kind of like worms that you shock with a prod. They just kind of like all slime around on you. I don't know how many people remember that, but that seemed to be something that they have corrected. There is still obviously some active physics that turn on when you lift them. It's very minimal amount of movement though, and I'm very impressed with that. So whatever they've done with the physics engine, they have fixed that. So I'm just pulling some logs off here. I would be using the claw, but I'm having some issues with my controls, so I got to get that all set up and stuff before I can use the big guy there. I had it working pretty good last night, but for some reason my controls reset on me. And that might be just the way I have something set up here. So, all right. So like I said, they do settle a lot nicer. Unfortunately, they still do slide down hills like straight. So if you have it on an angle like this, they do slide down to you, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's not so bad. So looking at the way they interact with each other, I mean, just like watching the roll of them, watching the way they settle, they act a lot more realistically, and there's a lot more weight to them. Same when you pick them up. Before, like if you were to bump any pile, you know, it would, you know, send everything going flying. Now everything seems to have a real solid like structure to it. Like when you tap on other logs, you know, you can still move stuff by pressing on it. So if I want to go, you know, push one of these logs, you can still run into it. But things don't move around like they used to. It's not, you know, it's not like crazy sharp flying logs everywhere. The piles are actually quite heavy. You can actually feel that in the physics. It gives you a lot more ability to kind of move around. I can get rid of this piece of tree because that's kind of a weird one. But yeah, I'm not sure as far as stacking goes. I did have another map where I went into the editor and I put a whole bunch of trees down on it. Actually, I'll show you that here in a sec if I can get it to load. It lags out really bad at the beginning, but the trees do settle quite nicely. So yeah, the logs in general have been improved. They seem to settle a lot nicer. They seem to sit a lot nicer. Again, there won't really be much of a test until I can get like my own grapple loader in here and really start playing with them a lot to see how it goes. But we're not going to be screwing around with the trees when we're modding. We'll change textures and stuff, but we want to leave the physics exactly how giants have them, just because I want to be able to you know, keep everything consistent and kind of universal, especially when we're going to be going or trying to go to consoles. So but yeah, no, I'm really impressed with the physics so far. I do notice that there still is physics gaps. So for instance, the physical part of the tree that you're seeing right now, I don't have my developer console on yet, but underneath it there's the actual collision wall, which is like kind of like a rendered hexagon-y looking thing, wireframe. So when I press this tree up against this tree, you'll notice it starts moving before it actually touches the other tree. So there's like a little gap in between. So like right there, the trees are touching, but yet you still see there's a gap in between the trees. So I was kind of hoping they would reduce that to make it more realistic. So when you do grab a grapple full of logs, there's no big blurgy bits in between. So let's see, we're going to lay this way. I guess I can't really see that angle, but there's probably a bit of a gap there. So yeah, I mean, that's just minimal stuff, but from some of the other videos I saw, I was kind of worried that the physics were going to be just as wonky. I noticed picking them up with the grapple and stuff, they still do glitch out a little bit, but I'm hoping to fix that with my own grapples when we get things rolling here. Physics-wise, it seems to be a lot better. I'm actually really impressed. So for instance, I haven't done like a crazy... Here, I'm just going to quit this for now. I haven't done like a crazy physics test of any kind, except for this one. So I'm going to load this map. It's really laggy at first, because obviously it's got to load in all the crap I did. I basically went into the map editor, and now what they have is they have these bits of wood that just lay on the ground that are dynamic, so you don't have to cut them or anything. They're just there physically to play with, and you can actually grab them with the forwarder, throw them on the machine, and take them to the mill and sell them. So those physical pieces actually work, which is pretty cool. So what I've gone and done in the map editor on this one is I actually went through and I added like a gazillion pieces of wood onto this map. As you'll see, it's really slow here at first. So this is just a stress test of physics right off the bat. So like I said, I'm getting like 1 to 2 frames a second. As you can see, it's really choppy and really bad. But all of this wood right now, all of the physics of it are touching each other. So every single one of these logs are moving, they're touching, they're settling, and they all interact with each other. So one thing I do notice, like if you had this in Farming Simulator 2017, the whole game would stay like this the entire time. But what happened last night, and hopefully it'll happen again today, is these logs do reach a settle point where they stop moving, which is something we've never seen in the other games. So as you can see, they are still settling, figuring out their positions. And again, it's a lot of stuff to process for the game. So that's why you see so much lag, so much crap happening here. So we'll just wait a minute and see if they settle down like they did last night. Because I was running around the pile in like, 5 frames a second, and then all of a sudden, it just opened up and I was able to move around. So we're just going to see how things calm down, or if they do. So any kind of movement, every time you see like even one little stick of wood move a little bit, it's now affecting every other stick, everything else, all the active physics are going at one time. And then the game has to figure out how to make all that settle. It's actually quite a bit of processing that goes into physics. It's crazy. Calculating a lot of numbers at once. So I'm just going to see if it settles down here. So this will kind of give us at least the idea that, what we can work with and what we can't for physics as far as things go. Now, I'd love a game that had like unlimited physics where you could just do this and it wouldn't be a problem, but it's not likely. Oh, there we go. Okay, so all the logs have settled, which is something I've never seen before. Like in the other game, if you were to, have a pile like this, it would never settle because it would just be so many different physics constantly turning on and off. Something that they've done in this game has caused it to make the active physics turn to inactive quicker than it used to in Farming Simulator 2017, which is great for us, especially for logging. Unfortunately, I can't pick these logs up. But if I do bump one of these logs, I wonder if I can cut down one of these trees. I probably have to buy this area first, wouldn't I? Let's see here. Where are we? We are... Man, I always have such a hard time finding myself on these maps. Oh, I'm right in the middle here. Duh. Okay, so we want to buy this little tract of land right here. Sure. Alright. Just because I want to cut down one of these trees. Oh, and we need a saw, so we're going to go... I have to go by brand. Let's go grab a steel. A steel... Yes. Alright, so this is our tree here, or should be our tree in theory. Now, when I knock this tree down and I bring this little piece over and throw it at that pile, it's going to engage all the physics again on all those logs. At least I think it will. This will be a stress test here. But by taking this piece, chucking it at this pile, you're going to see everything slow down again. Here's my guess. Yeah. So now we've just bumped the pile. And it's turned all the physics in this pile back on again. It's turned them all active, everything. So that's why you see so much slowdown. But, depending on how things go, it seems to settle really quick. See, like, every single log in this pile is now settled. That was really fast. In Farming Simulator 2017, that time would be doubled, if not tripled. So, basically, the whole purpose of this test is to show... Yes, the physics still do take up a taxing amount of space on it. Like they do take up a lot of processing power to run. but they do seem to settle faster, which will give us a lot of options for logging, and it'll probably fix a lot of desynchronization problems in multiplayer. I'm looking forward to doing some testing with that stuff, so we'll see. Oops, we just boarded a random train. I'm also going to be doing some physics tests for running over the trees, because we were playing with that last night, and you can definitely run down some trees, which is pretty cool, and use them. You could probably use them to build a bridge, honestly. I bet you the physics are probably close enough to do that. So anyway, I'm going to end it for this one, but that was just basically a little physics test to show you guys the trees. Once we get some machines going and stuff, we'll really be able to abuse them, but that is in the works, and we'll see how she goes. So thanks you guys for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you're in the bush, don't forget to hug a tree. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.